Here is the kit of plastic rivets or door panel clips I got on Amazon for this job. It also came with these no-scratch plastic removers and this metal forked remover tool. Okay, today we're going to be replacing the window control switch on the 2007 Dodge Sprinter. We've got the new control switch on eBay. Looks like it's going to align well to go in there. Bottom panel off of the door by opening these first. Pop this guy down. Had to work those turns, a couple of different turns to get that plug out of its connector there. And if we look in here, we find our first Torx screw in there, holding the panel to the door. There's another one over here. Lift straight up and off. So we're going to pop these plugs out of the way, look in there. Okay, we'll try and get this first plug out with the plastic remover tool that was provided in the kit of rivets. Okay, I wasn't having any luck with any of the plastic parts, so we're going to up our game a little bit and hopefully not make a mess, make a lot of scratches. The chisel seemed to work the best. We did suffer a little bit of scratching there, but I think we're going to be all right. And given that the clips are on the tops and bottoms, we'll try and wedge from there this time. And indeed, applying the chisel up from the bottom in a little bit and then just pulling it out. Looks like we did a good job of not scratching. Yep, very little bit of damage there. Okay, using the Torx T20 driver to remove these screws. I think it might be a T25, but I can't find my T25. And these are already pretty loose. So far so good with the T20. Get in there and open those up. And try to get in this guy. And there are the 4 screws. They are different from the farther away part of the door on the left there to the closer to the hinge part of the door on the right. To get it started, from there, get that out of the way. And these two here holding the door together are T30s. Now, I'm going to just try and apply from the edge, expecting to find those plastic rivets that will probably fail and break on the way out. And got to be aware of the lock. That part's going to slide away, and hopefully this goes okay without breaking a lot of things. Kind of expected the door handle to come loose. It is not, so I'm just going to try and pull on all of it all together without losing the screws that are still in there because they're just not coming out by themselves. So I'm trying to be a little bit clever and use the tools that I got. I got this pry tool and the rivets and the plastic tool, so I'm using the plastic tool behind the pry tool to protect the paint. And the rivets you can see is green in there, so I've been sticking the plastic to try and protect the paint on the metal, and then prying this in between, trying to get the fork around the rivet itself or near the rivets, and pop it out that way with a wedge, the pry. Well, here I got those first couple out on the edge like I was pointing out, and then the ones deeper in there just really require a good pull, good yank. Looks like the assembly is to have a hard hook in there in the middle. There we go. So I'm going to try and pull from the top first. But as you can see, I'm pretty close to it, and you can see the little hook edge on the bottom there, so probably pulling from the top is better. Down inside from the top here, broken or popped out most of the rivets. Sure hope my kit has the right size. So now I'm going to remove the wiring harness from the bottom of the switch. Popped right out. And then I'm going to swing the door around to the side. It's still attached by the door release cable. I'm probably just going to leave that intact. You can just pull this clip off. Should let the front of the switch assembly slide out. The back of the switch assembly is, well, should slide forward then. And that's exactly what happened. In fact, when I pried that white part off, the old switch assembly dove to the ground. So now we'll put the new assembly in, tuck that end in the back in that hole there. This front part that looked like it might take screws, which maybe it would in another lifetime, we'll tuck inside that white C-shaped part. Okay, good news. It was a little bit snug fitting into this fit, but it's all in place. Wires hook up okay, and well, I've tried them. They do hook up okay. Now I need to figure out, hopefully I have these exact rivets and can swap them out and put everything back together. I think I have a reasonably good technique. This guy's wedged in there. You can see the top cap part is just broken off. So not a lot of point in trying to pry on it, but with it inside the door against the metal, I've been trying to shove the plastic protector kind of against it, and then alongside of that apply the fork tool and hit the head of the tool with my hand to wedge it in there pretty well, wedge it in between there, and then pop it out like that. So you can see here I've been cutting the heads down to smaller to help them match the heads of the original parts, so they slide in and stay in place while the door goes back together. I've got most of them in here. You can see they're just all along the perimeter of the panel, and just slide this guy in just like so. Get that all the way in, and that'll be our new rivets. So again, there's several. We've got 2 more to go down here at the bottom. Right there and right there. Don't forget to reattach the wires. And double check here. All of our rivets all the way around. And everything lined up, ready to go. And pop them all back into place. Probably from the bottom up, since the bottom has the solid hinge connector parts I pointed out earlier. That's what it's been looking like the whole time. Side of the panel where each of those rivets is. So those 2, for example, right there and right there. Hopefully know where to push to put them in place. From the bottom, kind of the bottom inside a little bit. The one behind that piece of tape was really hard to see. You had to put your head all the way back around there. Otherwise, I'm just going to give each of these a tap, and they should, I hope, go. Just keep going in. These are getting there. A little bit of space there still, so still got to push that one in further. Okay, almost slipped up here. Forgot the lock, so hopefully you'll be watching this before you do the work and not forget to lock yourself. But I managed to pry the door panel back out just enough, and it's looking like that's how the lock will be able to push it down and get that peg there into the hole, which is exactly how it worked. Looking good. And a little bit more pushing, a little bit more prying. That one did come out that way when we popped that first screw, but you can see the rest of the door. We're getting it good and flush up against the metal, so
I think the
rivets.
they're doing their jobs. Okay, great news. All of the screws are going back where they're supposed to be. Don't have to throw any in the crankcase like the old school used to go do. Got all 6 of them in place, made double sure they're all tight. Especially the ones here in the handle that get pulled on all the time when you close the door. So looking good. Again, we'll put these handle covers back on and the covers back over these 2 screws. Take the tape off, we'll be all good. Handle cover, it's gonna go on bottom first. Like that, like so. And then we'll just clasp in each of these hook parts into their respective slots. Looking good. New switch is looking good.
Rivets.
It's looking good. Kind of swap the 2
plugs.
You can see I marked up this one a little bit more than the other one, but marked up this hole a little bit less than the other one. So a little bit of mix and match there. They were keyed, pretty obvious little tap with the hand. Same with the trim cover here, just didn't take any tools, just had to smack it a little bit with your fist. And again, good looking switches. Now we did notice that switches work backwards. Took the switch apart and it is one piece of circuit board, so there was no way to do that. Could have swapped the wires, probably cut and trimmed the wires and stuff. Decided that wasn't worth the effort either, so just have to be used to the van being a little bit different from how our cars are set up. And the demo, key back in the ignition, turn to the on position. This trigger runs that window. Oh my goodness, you can see me in the mirror and the reflection in the window. And the other trigger runs the far window. Ta-da! Bottom panel off of the door by opening these first. Pop this guy down.